Hey everyone, it's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. Thanks for coming by to check out another video. You are going to want to stick around to watch this one because I am going to teach you how to make a ton of money using eBay's auction system properly and how to avoid losing a lot of money by using eBay's auction system improperly. We don't want to do that, so I'm going to show you some tips on that in just a few moments. Before I do that, I do have a few brief housekeeping items that I want to get to. Number one is that I have announced the name and the time and start date for my first live show. The name of the show is going to be called Primetime Live. It will start at prime time. That means it's going to start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The first show will be on October 3rd. That's a Wednesday. So please make sure you're there. I'd love to get a chance to interact with you. I will do open-ended question and answer on anything related to reselling. Plus, I'll answer personal questions that you may have as well. I want to get a chance to interact with all of you more fluidly. Also, I will have a theme of the show, which will be about getting started on eBay. So if you're new, definitely be there. If you're a veteran, be there as well, because I'd love for you to share some tips as well in the chat section. Number two, I want to make sure I thank all of you who have expressed concerns about my health. As you can tell, I have had a cold recently and my voice has been a little bit off. So I want to just make sure I assure everybody this is just a cold. There's nothing seriously wrong. I will be just fine. It's just going to take a little bit of time. This one's lingered around for just a little bit, but thank you. It means a lot to me for all of you to have expressed your concern. I am taking the day off tomorrow, and I am actually filming this particular video before midnight. So yay for me. Hopefully I will get some rest tonight. So thanks everybody. And lastly, before we get into the content of this video, I want to thank a great subscriber and supporter of the Primetime Treasure YouTube channel, of my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, and of my Instagram account at Primetime Treasure. The links to all those things are down below in the description section. That person is Thrifty Esme. I have not shouted you out yet, and I have meant to, and so I want to take a chance here. Thrifty Esme, that's spelled Thrifty. It's all one word, then Esme, E-S-M-E, which is short for Esmeralda. She has just been a super duper great prime timer, subscriber. I really appreciate all your comments and all your support, and I love to shout out people who are supportive of this channel and of the different social media venues I'm in. So thank you all, but also special thanks to Esme tonight. So let's get into the main content of this video, which is proper use of the auction system. Now, just to go back in history for a moment, when I started using eBay back in 2000, there was no such thing as buy it now. It was all auction, and it started to get people frustrated for a few reasons. One was because there were people who were losing money on auctions if they had an item that was not high in demand, or if it was something where there was a lot of supply. So people were actually losing money on their items when you factored in the fees and the shipping. The other thing is people were getting impatient. They didn't want to wait 7 days or 4 days or 30 days or anything like that for their item. They just wanted to buy it now. So a lot of people shift to buy it now. And the vast majority of the items that I sell on eBay, I'd say 99% of them, are with the buy it now best offer format. But once in a while, there's an item that comes along that's so special that it is deserving of an auction format. And that type of item has to be one that is high in demand and is low in supply. So low in supply that you are pretty much the only person that has it. You've got the market cornered on it. Now, I'm going to stop for a second because some of you may correctly remember that I did a prior YouTube video on problems with eBay's current auction system. And there are some problems with it. One, which I wish they would fix, it is a big problem, is that eBay does not require the winning bidder to immediately purchase the item. So you can run into situations when somebody overbids and they don't pay you, and you're pretty much stuck. You have to run the auction again or change the format. Now, that happened on a prior set of vintage promotional robot sheets for the Godaikin Bondi figures. You might remember that as a prior video I did on it. But there were some special exceptions in that situation that I think caused some problems. One, there were a lot of overseas bidders, and one of the bidders that paid was international. Not that I've had problems with international bidders before, but this one, I think people were getting confused. There could have been some language barriers. People were thinking they were winning the actual robots when actually I was selling the sheets, even though I made this clear, but that could have caused an issue with some international buyers. So I eventually just shifted it to buy it now, best offer, and sold it for $550. So I ultimately did very well on that item. But so this item I'm going to show you is one which I'm not going to have to deal with that type of stuff. This is going to be something that's very likely going to stay in the US, and that's this item here. You've probably seen me promoting this on my social media networks, this is a NWA, which was a famous wrestling association back in the day. It's still around, but its heyday was really in the 1980s and some of the 1990s. If you don't know about wrestling, if you don't watch wrestling, it's very important that you gain some awareness of popular pop culture icons, characters, figures, and there's many of them on this sign. One of which, the number one is Ric Flair. Ric Flair is one of the most famous wrestlers of all time. You should write his name down if you don't know anything about wrestling, because if you see anything with Ric Flair on it, his famous trademark slogan is to say "Woo," W-H-O-O-O or W-O-O-O-O. So make sure you put that down. Be on the lookout for Ric Flair items. But there's a lot of other famous people on this sign. Names: Terry Funk, Sting, Lex Luger. A lot of famous tag teams, Fabulous Freebirds, Road Warriors. There's just so many great names on this sign, and it is a vintage sign. It doesn't say the year on it, but it does say September 29th in Syracuse, New York, which is where I live. That also helps give me some provenance for the item because it will be mailed out from the Syracuse area. This match took place in 1989, and Ric Flair successfully defended his championship. And so Ric Flair fans would love to have this sign. So if you think about it, if you have a vintage item like this, it's promotional, it's advertising, it's a sign. Signs are one of the most popular things to sell that bring in huge money, hundreds of dollars for a great vintage sign. So all you need are two hardcore wrestling fans, collectors, Ric Flair fans to battle it out in the auction, and that is going to drive the price up for an item like this. So, how do we know, how do we get some data and some evidence to support beyond just a hunch that this would be something that would do well in an auction? Well, very easy. All you have to do is go to eBay, hit the advanced tab, type in what the item is. So here we go, wrestling promotional poster, and just sort it by price, highest, first, price plus shipping. And look what we see here. The number one item, and look, they're all the red and white signs like I have, right? By the way, the sign here that I found this in a collectibles haul through an estate that I cleared out over the course of 4 days. I've already made all my money back from that estate clear out. So everything from here is profit, including this sign. And I've wanted to put this sign up for a while. I featured it kind of in the background of the video that I did recently, and this is one of the advantages of being on social media and having a YouTube channel, is I did that YouTube video on the slip sheets, the cardboard slip sheets, and how you could use them to pack signs, and I showed this as an example of a large sign that could go in there. And one of my Instagram followers said, "Hey, that wrestling sign, that looks awesome. When are you going to post that?" So, you know, that just gave me further motivation to post it because, you know, someone's seeing it in the background and wanting it. That gives me a good, you know, further indication that that's going to be something that people are going to go after. So I put it up the next day after that person wrote me. But anyway, let's go back to here. So look what we see. This sign here went for $525. Green is sold. Auction format. You know that because it says bids occurred. Let's look at this one. Vintage WWF wrestling promotional poster. $521. 22 bids. Here's the next one. Vintage WWF wrestling poster, $310. Again, 16 bids. All right, next one. WWF promotional poster, $280, 17 bids. So you get the point. You can just keep going and going and going. That's data. That data is telling you a few things. The same exact type of sign, when people sell it and make top dollar, they make it in auction format, not buy it now format, because of the reason I just mentioned. It's high demand, it's low supply. There were generally maybe only one or a few of these signs that were made per event, and if there were multiples made, very few of them continue to exist. So they're generally unique, one-of-a-kind items, as long as they're not reproductions, and mine is original, and so are these right here. The other thing that it's telling you is you really are not going to have any kind of significant risk putting this in an auction format without a reserve. So with auctions, you could put a reserve in which you're basically telling people that you're not going to sell the item unless it goes over a certain amount. Now, I would suggest putting in a reserve if you are very concerned that you're taking a bit of a risk or a gamble with your item and you don't want to lose it for a low amount of money. But if you have the kind of confidence like you would have in this kind of data, I would just put it up with no reserve, because people who bid in an auction generally don't want to see a reserve. They like that there's no reserve. Start it low. Started at about $9.99 or less. I started mine at $9.99. And I'll show you what is currently going on with it in just a few moments, because that helps to create buzz. That helps to create some excitement that you're starting at low, so people want to get in and start the bidding on it pretty fast. In fact, let's go over to my page right now, and we will look at what the current situation is with this. Now, I put this up a few days ago, and we could see here that, let's go to active listings. I'm going to go down here, and we will see that, where is it? Here we go, right here. Okay, this now has, it's up to $130 with 19 bids, and I have just about 4 days left on this. Okay, so this ends Monday night. That's another thing. You want to make sure you end it at nighttime, generally around 9 p.m. Central Time, and that's about when this one is going to end. You are allowed to, for 10 cents extra, like if you created your auction in the morning, it will allow you to set the time that it will start. So you could say start it at 10 p.m. Eastern Time or 9 p.m. Central Time, and it will start for you then. Or if you just happen to have made it and it's ready to go around that time, then just start it right then and there. But the reason for that is you don't want it ending at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the morning when no one's up. You want people to be up, glued to their computer screens, all ready to bid this thing up at the very end. And that's what's going to happen with this item, is at the very end, usually the last 10 minutes or so, that's when the bids just start going absolutely crazy. Now, some indicators you need to be aware of in terms of whether or not you did this right. Couple things are going to happen if you did it right and set it up for auction. One, you should get a bid within an hour. If you don't get a bid within an hour, provided you put it up at a normal time, that's a red flag that you may have messed up, and you may want to reconsider putting this in buy it now format. Two, you should start getting some inquiries from people who want to try to get you to switch it to buy it now format. So I've had 2 people who offered me, one within about an hour, and 2 by the next day, who offered me to sell them this sign. One person asked me to sell it for $100, buy it now, when it was priced at $9.99. Another person asked me to sell it to them for $250. My answer to them was thank you, but no thanks. The proper place for this is auction format. And so those people understood, but, nice try on their part, but not doing that. So those are two things to look for, that you start also get maybe a bunch of questions. People ask you about the item, they're interested in it. Those are all very, very good signs that you did something right with your choice of putting it into auction format. Also, you should start to see that this gets bid up within the first 24 hours. It should not stay at that $9.99 price. This literally went up to $100 within 24 hours. Now, it's not uncommon for it to stay right around that range for a few days, but then towards the end, it's going to spike up again. So what generally happens in the auction format is that it spikes up in the beginning, it slows down a little bit, maybe you get a little action here and there, and then towards the end, it starts to go up again. At the very end, it starts to go crazy. So that's what's going to happen with this item. I will follow up with you to let you know how this item does. Now, some other things I want to tell you about generating buzz for your item is make sure that you promote it. Don't just let it, if you have a special item like this, do not just let it sit there on eBay and expect people are going to find it. There will be people who find it, but go out there, even if you could find 2 or 3 or 4 other people that are interested in the item, those 2 people or even one of those people could be someone who bids the price up significantly so you make more money. How do you do that? 1, make sure you have an Instagram account. So you could see, here's my Instagram account here. And what I did is I created these little promotional ads for my item. So you see here, I took a picture of Ric Flair. I put a little caption in here, a few days left. Check out this 1989 sign up for auction. Here's the sign I put next to it. I made all this in PowerPoint. You could use canva.com if you would like. And it's very easy to make these types of things. I'll probably do a separate video if anyone's interested. Just let me know in the comments on how to make little promotional signs like this. It's a very, very easy thing to do. And then you just post it to your account and use hashtags. So you see here, hashtag Ric Flair, hashtag NWA, hashtag WWF, WWE, Lex Luger, and a lot of the names that are in this sign, because I want fans of those wrestlers to catch this and come to my auction. Let them know where it is. Here it is. It's in my eBay store. The link is in my bio link. Name the name of your store so people can easily find it. So what I do is I don't want to annoy the heck out of everybody, so I strategically do this once a day on Instagram for a 7-day auction, and I do it at night. So you can see here, here's another one that I made, and here's like the original one I did here. So I just made a couple of those. So that's one option, one avenue. The other thing I would suggest doing is finding a niche group on Facebook where this would fit in properly and joining it and then posting it there. For example, right here, you could see this is the old NWA and AWA wrestling fan group. Now I joined it. I checked. There's nothing against the rules there about posting this type of promotional item. And for a niche group that's like this, this is exactly where you would want to post something like this, and those people would appreciate it, by the way, because if they are someone who follows this type of historical type of interest area, old NWA and NWA wrestling fans, they would love to see an item like this. So I posted it there. I got 2 likes, and one person shared it right here onto his account. So you can see there, this guy here shared a post and he put it onto his account. So now that he shared it, other people might see it and share it as well. So if we go over here somewhere, he put it on his page. We just got to scroll down a bit. I don't know exactly. He put a lot of things and shared it over there. So it might take a while to find it. I don't want to bore you with it, but rest assured, I did see he posted it onto his page today. So another place I put it was in this buy, sell, trade sports memorabilia group. And if you look at the rules of this group, you are allowed to post things that are in an eBay store so it doesn't break any rules. By the way, try not to just go into these kind of special interest groups and just plop the item down and don't say anything. Like for mine, you could see that I mentioned in it that, hey, new member here. I'm an old, wrestling fan from, I love, old wrestling, and I thought that, people here would be interested in this item that I have up. So here it is. So you see, put a little introduction there. Say something. Don't just go in, look like you're spamming and just dropping links. That's going to get people annoyed if you do that. So there's other ways that you could be creative, but these are just a few examples of how to market your piece. And so what I do with this is strategically every day I try to find a new group or area where this would fit in, and I market it. So I'm marketing it on social media. I'm going after the potential buyers. I'm going after the marketplace. I'm not spending any money to do that, by the way. This is all free. It does take a little bit of time, and I know time is money, but this is worth it because we're trying to gin up interest for the item. It's all about creating that buzz, and trust me, these people, these fans start talking to one another. Hey, did you see this? Did you see this sign? They might even call a friend of theirs. Hey, there's this guy. He has this Ric Flair sign. You got to get this. So that's kind of how that kind of thing works. Now, let me just talk to you briefly. I mentioned this in the beginning of how to avoid losing money with eBay auctions. So let's take an oversaturated market where you could do well, but it is oversaturated, which are jeans. Now, with jeans, since it's an oversaturated market, there's tons of jeans out there. Unlike those old NWA wrestling signs, there's not tons of those out there. Now, jeans are in high demand, but they're also in high supply. So if we go to the auction setup right here, and we go to what's ending soonest, we see some things are ending off at a high price. But as we scroll down, we will see some things that are ending for a lower price that don't have any bids. For example, we have two items here that are going to end for about $15. We have some going down a little bit more. Let's see here where we could find some other ones. Here's a great example right here. 99 cents plus $4.45 shipping. Now it's a size 3T, but still, whoever sells this is really not going to make any money if this goes off. Now, the point of putting this for 99 cents was to hope that that was going to generate interest and that you were going to get a lot of people who are competing for that item. Well, that's only going to work if you have a high demand item. You're not going to get a bidding war over girls' denim jeans that are a size 3T. So what will happen is someone will post something like this. They will lose money or make about a 50-cent profit when all's said and done. And then they will be upset that they are not making money on eBay. But this is the reason why you're not making money on eBay, because you're choosing the wrong format to sell this type of item. Something like this may sell better in a lot format where you have multiple items, and put that up as a buy it now best offer. Do your research on the market value for it and set the price there when you know that you can make a nice, significant profit, hopefully around $10 or so, depending on the size of your lot, once you factor in the shipping price. That should be your aim, because you have to respect your time. It takes time to print out that label, to pack it, not so much with clothes, but this same rule goes for other items as well. So you will see people who make mistakes listing items in this way, and it is a way that sometimes you can source items actually. As a reseller, you could catch people who've made some mistakes putting things in auction formats. So look in the category that you're interested in selling some things in. You could catch some mistakes. You could buy it and you could package it in whatever way you want to, maybe make a lot or something like that. And then you could resell it eventually at a higher price in a buy it now best offer format. So that's something that you could do. You could also check for spelling errors, those types of things, interacting with a improper placement in an auction, and then you could catch some good deals there. Now, one other reason why people use auctions, before I wrap up this video, is some people will use the auction format to get rid of overstock so that they could generate feedback. Now, I personally don't suggest doing that, because while it is a way that you could generate feedback and you can get rid of overstock, I've talked about this in another video. I personally don't want to get rid of overstock and just make $1 or make $2 or lose money just to generate feedback. Yeah, you'll get rid of it in an auction format, but again, you need to value your time as a reseller if you want to be successful. So what I would suggest in those situations where you purchased an item that doesn't sell well individually is to be creative with it and hold on to it, or combine it with some other items where you can make small lots or larger lots and sell it off as a lot, or couple it with even just one other item that's similar. Be creative. I've done a previous video on that. But that's what I would suggest, and stay away from the auction format on those types of items. I know some people might disagree with me on that. That's okay. That's fine. I'm just telling you what my personal preference and opinion is on that matter. So that's pretty much what I want to show you. This will end in a few days and we'll see what happens with it on Monday. I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that this one will go up towards that $500 price range. And I'm all about making sure, as you could tell, that as a business person, that I am maximizing my profit on eBay. And why an auction format helps for an item like this is that if I make a guess and I just say, you know what, I'll put it up for $300, buy it now. Someone probably would buy it, and yeah, I'd make $300. However, in auction format, there's no telling what could happen with this. If you just wait 7 days, which is not a long time, you can make an additional $200, $250 or more. So just keep that in mind when you are thinking about an item for auction format. I hope that helps you. If in the future you put an item up on auction because you watched this video, please let me know that in the comments section. I'd be interested to know what it was, how much you made, that type of thing. Any other questions or comments, drop those down below. Please make sure you check out my description section. There's a ton of useful information there. There's links to my social media groups that I mentioned earlier. And there's also links to a lot of the products that I use to be successful in my reselling business. So if you click on those, they are affiliate links. They're through Amazon. They do help me out if you purchase anything through there. It helps to support this channel. But with that being said, before I completely lose my voice, I'm going to go get some rest. And I will see you all back at the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, everybody.